Sugar Land, Texas. For 20 years, it's been the poster child of the American suburb. Top-ranked schools, master plan communities, one of the highest median incomes in the state, and a skyline that keeps adding corporate headquarters. But something has shifted. For the first time in decades, Sugar Land population isn't growing, it's actually shrinking. Down over 3% since 2020 census, losing residents at a rate of almost 0.5% a year. And in 2026, the city hit a breaking point that made national local news. Its own school district voted to close 7 elementary schools. So today, we're asking the question a lot of Fort Bend County families are asking each other at soccer practice and in group chats. Why are people leaving Sugar Land? And more importantly, is this the start of a permanent demographic shift? Let's start with the hard data, because the vibes-based version of this story, everyone's leaving Texas, isn't quite right. Houston is still growing. Fort Bend County overall is still growing. But Sugar Land, the city itself, is not. The population has fallen from over 110,000 at the 2020 census to roughly 107,000 today. The median age has crept up to nearly 43. And the household composition is changing. Fewer young families with school-age kids, more empty nesters and retirees staying put in homes they've already paid down. That last point matters more than almost any other number in the story, because it's the quiet engine behind everything else that we're about to discuss. In March 2026, the Fort Bend Independent School District Board voted in a 4-3 decision to close 7 elementary campuses ahead of the 2026 to 2027 school year. Austin Parkway, Dulles, Fleming, Mission West, Ridgegate, and Sugar Mill Elementary. And the reason wasn't a scandal, it was mathematics. The district was staring down a budget shortfall that ballooned from an initial estimate of $26 million to nearly $57 million, driven largely by nearly 1,800 fewer students enrolling than the district had budgeted for. Some elementary campuses were running at 74% capacity. Closing 7 schools was projected to save the district somewhere between $5 and $7 million a year moving forward. Now, on paper, that's a rational response to declining enrollment. On the ground, it was an earthquake. Picture it from a family's perspective. You didn't just pick a house. You picked a school zone. You paid a premium for this home. Your kid has a teacher they love, friends they walked to class with, a routine that took years to build, and then a board vote made for budgetary reasons that have nothing to do with your family. It has nothing to do with rezoning your 5-year-old to a different building across town. That's exactly what happened to families zoned to Sugar Mill Elementary School. More than 50 parents showed up to the board meeting to fight this closure. One mother, a mom of a kindergarten and a 3rd grader, stood up and said, "Sugar Mill wasn't just a school, It was her community. It didn't matter. The vote passed anyway, and her kids were reassigned to Draybeck, Barrington Place, and Lakeview. So within months, some of those families made a decision that should worry city planners. Rather than accept a new assignment, they left the district entirely. One Sugar Mill family enrolled their kid at a private classical academy instead. Another parent, a pastor who works with multiple Fort Bend ISD families, said publicly he was reconsidering his relationship with the district altogether. That's the move factor in a single sentence. People don't just move away from a house. They move away from broken promises about the school their kid was supposed to attend. And here's the compounding problem. This isn't a one-time event families can just wait out. Fort Bend ISD has already said secondary school boundaries are next in line for review later this year. So for a lot of parents, the closure didn't just cost them a school. It cost them trust that the district map will not look the same 3 years from now. And that uncertainty alone is enough to push a family towards Katy, Richmond, and Fulshear, or private school alternatives, instead of waiting it out. Then you have the affordability squeeze. School closures didn't just happen in a vacuum. They're a symptom of a bigger affordability story. Sugar Land's median home value is well north of $500,000. And property taxes here are the price you pay for those top-ranked schools. But young families who might have bought into Sugar Land a decade ago are now getting priced into newer, cheaper master plan communities, 1 or 2 exits down the freeway. You have places like Fulshear, Richmond, and Katy, where builders are putting up brand new elementary schools instead of closing them. That's the flip side of Sugar Land's declining enrollment. It's not that Fort Bend County families are having fewer kids or disappearing. It's that new families are choosing new suburbs with lower price tags and freshly built infrastructure, while Sugar Land's original wave of home buyers from the 1990s to the 2000s are aging in place. The kids in those original homes have grown up and moved out. Nobody younger is moving into their place at that same pace. So let's look at the demographic change. So is this forever or is it a cycle? Here's the case that it is temporary. Sugar Land is essentially built out. There's very little vacant land left for new subdivisions, which means population growth was always going to plateau once the last phases of the development has sold out. That's not decline, that's maturity. Established suburbs like this one often go through a demographic dip as the first generation of buyer ages out and before their homes turn over to the second generation of younger buyers. If home prices soften and interest rates ease, some of those homes could turn over to younger families again, and enrollment could stabilize or even rebound in 5 to 10 years. Now, here's the case for permanent Once a school closes, it very rarely reopens. Once a family builds a life around Katy or Fulshear, the shiny new campuses, they don't move back for nostalgia. And once a city's median age crosses a certain threshold, tax bases lean more heavily on services for seniors, hospitals, healthcare, low maintenance housing, and less on the parks, the youth sports leagues, and elementary schools that attract the next generation of families. That can become self-reinforcing. Fewer young families means fewer schools, fewer full schools, which means more closures, which pushes out the families who are left. So Fort Bend ISD's own numbers suggest we're closer to that second scenario than city leaders would like to admit. This wasn't framed as a one-time correction. It was framed as the first phase of a 3-year boundary planning process, with secondary schools next. That's not language you use for a blip. That's language you use for a trend the district expects to continue. What do this mean for the region? Zoom out. Sugar Land's story is really a Houston suburb story. Growth isn't disappearing from Fort Bend County, it's relocating. The energy, the new schools, the younger families are pushing further west, also south into Fulshear, Richmond, and unincorporated pockets of the county that didn't exist as suburbs 15 years ago. Sugar Land, meanwhile, is transitioning from young family magnet to something closer to established high-income Asian community, more similar to a place like West University Place than the fastest growth suburb that it was in 2000s. So is Sugar Land demographics changing forever? The honest answer is yes. At least for this generation. Not because people don't want to live there anymore, but because the very things that made it attractive, stability, established neighborhoods, and top schools, are now colliding with the realities of the aging population and a shrinking student base. The school closures weren't the cause of that shift. They were the moment it became impossible to ignore. If you're a Sugar Land parent watching this and wondering whether to stay or go, you're not imagining it. The math the district is looking at is the same math you're looking at your kitchen table. Thanks for watching. If you want to follow up on where these families are actually landing, hit subscribe because that video is coming up next. Thank you for watching this video. I hope this video brought you so much value. If it's so, like, comment, and share. My name is Robert Jeff Johnson, Better Broker LLC, DJ&J Properties. Thank you.